This video was sponsored by Playbuds. To save 10% off, use code METROX at checkout. Hello everyone, this is Metroxix and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be drawing heads, and more importantly, we're going to be doing a, let's try to think about what we want to draw today. Let's go with a furry head. We're going to do it with a blank canvas of 1920 by 1080 pixels. And we're going to do it at a 600 DPI or resolution. I'm not sure what program you use and what it's called, but mine says resolution and DPI at the same time. So it's kind of weird, but so you're going to want to figure out what pencils you want to use. And I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So we're going to go with the color pencil. And majority of everything you'll ever draw when it comes to anatomy, if you start from the head first, like me, you'll always draw with a circle or a square. And usually it'll end up with a chin or something, and sometimes people even have a square and they'll circle it off just to, I guess, help them out, give it more definition, stuff like that. So sometimes people will do that. I tend to do a circle method to everything. This is not the best of my works, mostly due to me getting used to a new setup and how I can't have my tablet close to me or in my lap where I have more control. My arm is literally hanging off the desk, so it's a bit of a struggle for me right now. Gonna go ahead and move the mic here. But generally, there are two different ways that are usually accepted when drawing tutorials, and you'll mostly see people do this one over this one. But you will still see people. You still will see. I can't talk today. You still will see people using this every now and again here on YouTube, or in general wherever they decide to post their tutorial, whether it be Vimeo or Instagram or Twitter. You'll see people use this sometimes, but majority of times you'll do this. But we don't want to draw a human head. We want to draw a furry. So take that basic concept, right? And what you do is you figure out where he's going to face, for one. Like face, let's see. Sorry, Steam is up and about. Sorry about that, I had to jump cut. My good old buddy Dracon from Insomniac servers was messaging me on Steam. But anyway, what you're going to want to do is take the circle and put your lines that tell you where you're going to face as the character, where it's going to face. Then you want to go ahead, you want to draw the guideline of where everything will fit and work. So for my character, normally, this is how my character would come out to be. I'm still experimenting with this, and I was taught this by someone else because I had issues trying to draw it out, and then I would forget to put the back of the skull. So this helps me remember I need to put the back of the skull. So you go in, you do this, you would add, and this all helps you check and make sure you're doing it correctly. But you'd go in, you add part of the snout or the muzzle, whatever you want to call it. And you put in the nose. And let's see how we want to sketch up the lips, because it's not all animal. When doing a furry, it's majority animal features in the face, the paws, and the feet and tail. But sometimes furries will have the more, like, I'm trying to think of what's the word. Well, like their jawlines and stuff, they'll have like the nose, and then they'll have their mouth with this. But furries can be all this and this also, or I was working on this project where you don't have this connecting it, which I might do that for this piece where I'm painting it. I'm painting it all freehand, but you can customize it however you like. That's the beauty of art in general, and for furries. It doesn't have to be just a fox. It could be a fox dragon, fox lizard, lizard shark. Whatever you feel you want to represent you or represent something in a story, or just have in a story and be a badass character. So it's gonna take me a minute to think about this. Alright, so what I've decided to do is ignore the lips for now and just put in the shapes. And at this point you can add in detail like fangs. And then now we can move on to just shaping that out. We can move on to the neck, and we'll go ahead and give him a thick neck. I think about what type of character he'd be. Maybe like a relatively beefy character. In my head is what I could see this being. So we'll give him a thick old neck. Big old, thick old neck. Lots of people like the muscles. And sorry if I sound tired. I guess I sound this way all the time. No matter if I get good sleep, bad sleep, I just sound tired. So I'm really sorry about that. I want to go ahead and put in some more skull here. This is what I was talking about. It helps you remember that there's more here. And now I'm trying to think of a hairdo. But before I do that, let's go ahead and figure out how we want to assess putting the eyebrows. I like how this is turning out, so let's keep it going. Actually, let's do the eye first, because I have something in mind on what I'm seeing him do. Just messing around with ideas. So right now, we'll go ahead and put some eyebrows in. And you want to curve all that. And like I said, everything is really, really custom. I'm sure it's easy to do eyes. And if you don't know how, I don't know how to teach eyes other than eyes are eyes, and you know, I go for a more Eastern style, so it's gonna be a little more anime-ish. I'm not all into the Western animation, but there are a few that catch my eye when it comes to Western animation in terms of the traditional and traditional simulated or digital, and I'm doing air quotes behind the mic, the medium, but I like to go for a more Eastern feel for how my works turn out. And so just think about eyes in general, and if you need anything, I always recommend a reference. So look up maybe other furries and see how their eyes are, and find one that appeals to you, and then draw it, and then look at it and say, do I want it exactly like that? Or maybe do I want to add a scar? Do I want to have some neon eyes? Do I want to have it shaped differently in this spot or that spot? Or maybe cut the eyebrow and maybe make him look cool with like maybe like some eye hairs are fluffed out a bit, you know? Just everything doesn't have to be exactly like your idol, the person you look up to, the person you learn from, but the key thing is using them as a structure to build a you, because that's what we're here for. We're here to create, but most of us can't tell you how to do it, and I'm probably not the best person, but one thing we'll always say is learn from us as we get better, and then become like us and just draw. And I think eyes would be the easiest thing you could pick up on when it comes to anything, whether it be human, monster, furry, alien, and just in general, it's one of the easiest things to do. Now, in terms of how to place them, normally there should be a line here to tell you where they are, but because I know where that is, generally I'm going to draw like there we go. We'll finish this circle here. So basically, there are key things that I probably should have went over in the beginning, and that is where you're facing, but actually we'll use this right here, where the eyes are, where they're going to be generally located. This is the eye line here and here. Normally other artists will say here's the nose line, here's the mouth line. Normally there'll be lines like this one. But for simplicity, to get you to understand it better, you know, here's the line. And then this line here will follow all the way down from making this the spine if they're standing straight. Or they'll draw it out and they'll draw out the body, and they'll have another line for the spine itself, connecting it to the head in a different way if they're bending over for something. But generally, that's how things are here. And then other artists like Proco will show you, here's where ears go. And this is not the best example, but if you look at his how to draw heads, he'll have the circle thing going on, and he'll be telling you, now this is where the ears go. But for furries, that's entirely different, but they can also be put here where I showed you. But almost every furry you'll ever see will have ears here. They'll always, without a doubt, if they're like just a normal, not too highly changed, and just of their base reference animal, they'll be up here. Sharks and things like sharks, like snakes and stuff, they don't have ears, but usually what I see kind of done is people like to put ears in them, sometimes as a joke, or as to be, if they're hybrid, they'll say, well, this is a snake, but they're also part cat or something, genetically engineered, part snake, part cat. the ultimate predator, you know, or a bird. You know, they don't have ears either. So, you know, you would normally never draw them with ears unless you want to be a little bit more unique. And you'd have the neck. In this case, it's kind of a kitty, so we'll have like a cute little kitty collar. Have a circle. You know, stuff like that. Well, it'll be ears, eye line, circle for head. And you would shape it out more, like I'm doing how I have a skull now. But that's in the side view. And forward view, you can get away with a lot of stuff. Like you can cover up bits by putting hair. You can cover up parts of the ear, put more hair. Add here, yeah. You know, just get away with a lot of things and draw some shadow for hair behind that's within all of this. You know, another thing you could add onto ears would be fluff inside, which is what you'd see in here. He's got like a green fluff, like his hair is like normal green, and then, you know, I gave him a neon green. So you add fluff on the inside. Just little things like that make him or her a little different. So, just things like that to consider. And we'll go ahead and we'll move this over. Oops. Go ahead and add some more to that. Control D to remove that, and we'll go ahead and finish this up. Get back to our colored pencil. But generally, I just want to show you how you would normally do things. For more in-depth things, I totally recommend Proco for eyes and ears with humans. But for furries, just follow that basic rule, and if you don't believe me, go look at other artists and you'll see it in their finished works. I want to go ahead and flesh this out some more. So you want to add on to the neck, and there are different neck types for different builds. So a thick neck for a beefier person, skinny neck if you have like a cute simplistic style where they all have like skinny necks, big heads, and maybe like less than average size bodies. Maybe they're like all super tall and ridiculously skinny. I've seen a lot of combinations. It just personally goes with how you feel about it. Now if you're gonna go for something super realistic, you want to think about how would that look on a human, because humans are basically furries that are humanized. So you'd want to think, well, if he's supposed to be buff, why would his neck be this tiny? See what I mean? If he's supposed to be buff, you'd want him to have his neck extended there and there. Now, if he is maybe like average or slightly larger than average, he would have a neck like that. But I think it's basically all about feeling it out and coming to what you desire best. Personally, for me, I just want it to be a thick neck because I am trying to learn different sizes and bodies at the moment. Now for this eyebrow, I'm going to go ahead and flip the canvas. I have mine set to key F. Normally on my program I'd have to come over here and swap it, but I don't like coming this far out on my tablet. Oops, we'll erase that. And remember to Control Z a lot of things. Don't do it too much, because then you'll want to get in the habit of doing it. But for things that are like not fixable, that you have to go in and you have to re-angle it, in terms of like you can erase it and then just correct it, then you can just Control Z it, and Control Z is usually, or Command Z, or not Control. I want to say Command Z, Control or Command. I'm not sure what it is on the Mac. I don't really use Mac. I've only used it once in high school, and that was a very confusing experience because I've been a PC user all my life. So you want to go in, erase where you think would be necessary, but for me, I think this looks fine for this tutorial. I'm sorry if this tutorial is dragging on. This is my first ever tutorial. Let's see. You want to go ahead and when it comes to eyebrows, the best way I could explain what that is for is when you look at yourself in the mirror or you look at another person, you can clearly tell that there's a bump where your eyebrow is and your eye socket being pushed in a little bit, and you can feel it. It'll be pushed in a little bit, and then the curve of the eye forward will match where they'll both this and the eye would match normally. It would be somewhere right here where they would match in terms of where they are. But when you're drawing something, you want to let people know that your character is turned and that the eyebrows are kind of like a protrusion. I believe that's the right word, or they're poking out a bit. So you want to show that off a bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and flesh out the eyebrows, make it a little thicker. Alright, so now we're back, and let's see. So we got the eyebrows, right? Now, sorry, just this piece of the head has been messing with me. The more you end up drawing, the more you end up seeing mistakes, the more you want to fix them on newer pieces. Older ones, you're like, oh, it's said and done, and you leave it like that unless you do like the redraw challenge that people normally do. So I'm going to edit that a little bit. I'm just checking to see. I'll just do that. Now we're going to put the pupils in of the eye. So we'll go ahead and draw. We're going to make him look at us. He's kind of got that elegant, I don't want to say snooty, but he's got that elegant vibe going to him now. I mean, it could be a snooty vibe. I really wouldn't know. I'm not good with words. So you want to go ahead and do that with the eyes. You want to make it looking towards you, I guess, if you're still following along. Personally, me, I would probably add in this detail. I don't know why I would, but I just feel it. And a lot of art is basically you expressing you, so you're going to feel certain things that make this or that unique. I don't know if I've said that already. I tend to ramble, so welcome to the channel where I ramble. The nose needs to be fixed up a little bit, and we'll go ahead and do that accordingly. And try to decide whether or not to give him hair. Well, first we'll give him the ears. So ears are basically a triangular point or a rounded point, depending on the animal, which again, use a reference, discover what types of body parts and shapes your animal is configured with. Like bears have rounded ears, lots of dogs have sharp ears, some of them have rounded and even rounded floppy ears. Just depends on what animal and then what breed of that animal. So for the sake of this, we'll go ahead, we'll give him this. That's his ears. Give him some pointed ears. We're going to also go ahead and move both of them down so they're on the same layer. Move them both down. And alright, give them ears. I don't think I want to give them fluff in the ears, just because I don't think it will fit this piece. But we want to go ahead and give him a little hair. So I am feeling a bit of hair going like this, maybe. Kind of like a Farms, not a Farnsworth, Pennington, or this is like a rich person, like a really rich name, like Featherworth, or something weird like that. Something up in the front like that. Since he does have that elegance vibe to him. I'm trying to see how I want the back to be though. Whether he has long hair. Yeah, we'll give him long hair, where he's just like got that flowing. Girls always kind of want him long hair. And that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about while doing this, because I don't know if I'll ever bring it up again, but this also plays a role in character design, as little as I know about it. But if you want to design a character when you're drawing one, based on their personality. So let's say you're good at drawing, but you're always wondering why someone doesn't like when you draw their character. Well, sometimes you need to consider, well, what's their personality like? And sometimes you could spot it right off the bat by looking at the source images and then the descriptions that they want. Like, let's say your best friend wants you to draw his furry. His furry is a kind of a bully, but in secret. They're really, really kind, but they just don't want people to know that. So you would, ooh, let's give him more hair. I'll go ahead and I decide if I want to give him like, kind of getting that James from Team Rocket vibe off of him with the hair like this. I think I'll keep it, but we'll have like a piece of hair that's going in the back. But what I was saying was, you kind of want to think about their personality. So if they're like a bully and they have a sweet side, you want to make, like, let's say you make a piece where they're a bully to someone, and then, but that's like kind of faded out, kind of like who they are on the outside, and then like you make a full body of them cuddling, maybe like their big giant stuffed teddy bear. And they're like maybe like in a corner of a room while everyone's kind of like just passing by, and that would be them thinking about school and how they would never want them to find out or something. Just something like that. You'd want to think about that, and you'd want to draw something along those lines. Now you can go crazy and say, well, this is fan art and this is what they would do if they went maybe like full berserk. But sometimes people want something based on a character's personality and stuff like that. Knowing me, if anyone drew my things, I would just want to see them being drawn and just see what crazy, wacky, even kinky things they would be getting themselves into, or what kind of trouble they'd get into. My characters, and at least the majority of them, if not all of them, are adventurous. Alright, so we got like a hair going on, so that's pretty much it. I would line it, but I'm sure this video has gone on long enough. And, sorry, I'm like dragging on, I'm sorry. This video's kind of gone on long enough, and I didn't really want to make it this long, but I hope you guys have a good day, and until next time, I will see you in the next video, and stay happy, keep those tails wagging.